What is up, everyone? Welcome back. It is good to see all of you. I hope you're all doing well in the midst of all the insanity going on lately. I hope you and your families are all okay and you're out there surviving and still enjoying yourselves. Do something different today. With everything going on, I found more and more that I've pulled back into my musical comfort zones for the comfort, the catharsis. And two of my favorite bands lately that I continue to go to more and more are Evergrey and Evergrey. Two bands that in some ways are very similar. And at the same time, Evergrey fans are probably going, have you lost your mind? Well, you have to have something to lose something. So there's that. But and Evergrey fans that are seeing this probably thinking the same thing. Have I lost my mind? Again, got to have something to lose something. But these two tracks that we're checking out today, back to back, Aka, or Bright Red, by Evergrey, and All I Have by Evergrey, both off the most recent record from each band. They're really amazing tracks. Aka is easily one of my favorite Evergrey tracks, probably top 2 or top 3. The composition is incredible. And All I Have from Evergrey is also one of my favorite tracks off their latest record, The Atlantic. Evergrey was formed in 1997. Released their first record in 1999 with Gauze. They've released 10 records. Started out playing 6 strings. Started out with some E standard and drop D tuning. Have now moved on to 7-string extended range guitars and typically like to tune in a down tuning called drop D A7, which we'll talk about a little bit towards the end of the video. Evergrey were formed in Gothenburg, Sweden in 1995. They released their first record, The Dark Discovery, in 1998. They released The Atlantic in early 2019, and it was their 11th record. That's where Insulated is Evergrey's 10th. They also started doing a lot of standard stuff, moved into drop D, and eventually moved into 7-string guitars. Going into the extended range thing as well. And typically when they do use 7s, they play a lot in a standard. So you're going to hear some similarities on low strings. Though, as a whole, Evergrey tune a little bit lower. So, these two tracks together have been something I've been doing a lot. I find it to be amazing. And I wanted to share this with you because it's really a cool thing to be able to combine 2 tracks from different bands, or multiple tracks from different bands, and get this incredible effect out of it. Both are similar in song composition in some ways. Both have similar lyric connotations. So I really hope you enjoy this, and maybe it opens minds to fans of one band to the other, or just the idea of combining different tracks together. And if you have some ideas that I should do in a future video of this style, please let me know, because I'd really look forward to hearing it. We're doing Aka first by Evergrey. We're doing the live that was amazingly well translated by Perry X. She's incredible. I use a lot of her videos for Evergrey stuff when I go for translations. She puts in so much time and effort, and she truly is a massive fan of the band. So, here we go with Aka. Talking about that tuning there, drop D A7, you've got your 5 higher strings all tuned in standard E, which allows for those really clean, spanky, strummed chord shapes that they're doing right here that Dai uses so much in his songwriting. Absolutely love this riff. 'Cause you know This bass line is the glue that holds all of this amazing guitar work, vocals, and drums together. Great fill there. The clean tone that Dai uses here is just so fantastic. You get those faint atmospheric effects, those slight accents from Kuru. This bridge is one of my favorite things about this track. They're really using those two lower strings, the low B and the low E tuned to A and D respectively to get that heaviness in different power chords. The tremolo picking, what they do for so many of these tracks, really just, it pulls at me. The combination of that low chug with both bass and guitar and the gorgeous melodicism of this solo makes it so special. Love that little bit of vibrato that he uses there. Such a great part of his voice. All these little solo licks, these little accents work so well with the performance Kyo puts on. There's a beauty in the darkness of those low-end guitar riffs there. Also have to love harmonies, especially in that tremolo passage. All right, Aka, Duran Gray. Now, the official video for All I Have by Evergrey. A little bit of dark, heavy, Swedish progressive metal here, but get that same sense of atmosphere. Those dark, foreboding guitar riffs, tracks slowly building, those big chugs that build the intensity. Also, they use chord passages like that to give it those differences in texture and feelings. Big difference with Evergrey, unlike Duran Gray, is Tom does not growl at all. You get that, like Kyo, you get the pain and the anguish and the hurt and all those different emotions from this beautiful vocal. Both bands do such a great job of giving this these powerful emotions, the hurt, the anguish, but even these happy moments inside of it all, these powerful moments that lift you up a little bit. Also hear a little bit of the difference tonally, whereas Evergrey's bass player plays the pick, Toshia from Evergrey in most songs does not. He uses his fingers, but in some songs he uses a pick, but in Aka he does not. Hear that different attack on the strings. You get a lot of tremolo work here, which is amazing for me to hear as a longtime Evergrey fan, because normally all the tremolo stuff was handled by Henrik. To hear Tom start going in that same direction is amazing. So much emotion coming out of the solo, that additional voice. You can see similar approaches solo-wise, too. It's more about the feeling the solo provides as opposed to being incredibly technical. Love the backing vocals there, and that harmonization makes this hook so much more powerful. There we get a little bit of Henrik. Hear those slightly different solo styles here. Henrik has this way of using these big bends with the tremolo bar. Has this almost lazy way of imparting this powerful emotion. Something so interesting about it. Those big electronic textures adding the atmosphere to it. All right. That was Evergrey. That was all I have. It followed Aka by Evergrey. The Durin, the Evergrey. Something I've never done on this channel is put two tracks like that back to back without commentary in between, specifically to kind of showcase similarities and different emotions. Like, these two tracks flow together so well to me, even though they're from different bands with different styles, but compositionally in some ways there are similarities, and absolutely love it. Both vocalists are in some of their strongest elements vocally on each track. You have what I love the most about Evergrey as a band when they get into this more progressive styled tracks, the big ballads, the massive amounts of emotion, the mix of the heavy crunch of the down tuning on the low B string and the low E string, which in the tuning they use is drop D A7. It's the two lowest, the heaviest gauge strings are tuned a full step lower than standard tuning. The other standard E tuning. The other 5 strings on the guitar, the higher 5 strings, are in standard tuning. So they really use a lot of their heavy, chunky chugs that you get, especially on the newer stuff. You'll notice as you start trying to look at it and figure it out, they use that for so many of their heavy parts because they're down tuned lower and they can really get a bit of attack, dig in with those picks, and get those heavy chugs while still having the other 5 strings to offer the big chords and the real heavy strumming that Die loves to do, and this big jangly, almost spanky guitar tones that they get so much use out of in their big ballads. But they use a lot of different textures. They use a lot of tremolo picking, meaning it's fast alternate picking on 1 or 2 strings and they use that for a lot of their accents. They also use it for a lot of their heaviness when you look at tracks like Downfall. We'll talk about that later on in a different video when I can actually demonstrate it for you. Also, the drum performance from Shinya is really, really strong on Aka. And I think it's probably the single best performance on the record. He's so fantastic when he's in that rock, progressive rock groove, and he's not forced to play fast. And he's got some great fills, some really creative stuff. You also see similar takes in some places from Duran Gray's drummer Jonas, who's a fantastic drummer on many levels. He's also a really good guitar player, from what Tom has said. Tom being the lead singer and guitar player. And he's actually partly responsible for some of Evergrey's best riffs. Evergrey, on tracks like All I Have, they're tuning down in 7. They're tuning down a full step across the entire guitar to A, so the entirety of the guitar is down. And that gives more of that heaviness, some of those big, darker, more foreboding chords. And even the lyrical approaches from these two are really interesting. All I Have comes off the Atlantic record by Evergrey. It's the element of water, which is, from what Thomas said in some of the interviews, is part 3 of kind of a concept, a 4-part concept, being earth, fire, air, and water. We have fire, air, and water, so expect earth at some point. But also the lyrics deal with similar concepts here from Evergrey as Aka does with Duran Gray. So there's some really cool similarities. There's some fantastic guitar work. There's outstanding leads, both Die and both guitar players in Evergrey. I will say Evergrey do solo a lot more than Evergrey, or than Duran Gray. Or that Duran Gray doesn't solo as much as Evergrey. I would certainly love to see more of that, but that's simply a personal preference based off of each guitar player and what they want to do. But the solo in Aka is so fantastic, and it does such a great job with conveying even more emotion and really playing off that fantastic riff under there. the choices that Dye makes in that solo really works with using that heavier, chuggier riff. And the same can be said for both guitar players soloing Evergrey and All I Have and their choices. There is a little bit more of the technical. There's a little bit more tapping and stuff going on the Evergrey side. But wanted to do something different. And these two tracks are two of my favorites. They're very cathartic. Some people don't like the darker stuff as much. I lean on it. Like when I'm in a tough emotional spot, I find the darker, heavier stuff like that, like these two tracks, really helps pull me out of whatever funk that I get into. So I figured I'd draw some comparisons, show you two really fantastic tracks that I absolutely adore, and how they work together surprisingly well. I'm not going to say that every track from these two bands will work together, because they probably won't. Duran Gray is certainly the heavier, more aggressive band where you don't get the death metal and those influences from Evergrey. They are more melodic and they are a more dark progressive band as opposed to bringing in the death metal elements. So I won't say every track works, but there certainly are some really cool song combinations. And as I dig into some of the Duran Gray stuff, I still haven't listened to, because I still haven't covered it for you on the channel, like I promised I would many years ago. I don't have all access to all of that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this inspires you guys a little bit to step out of the box and combine different stuff together and see what kind of cool results you get out of it. And if you've got some cool ideas of stuff to pair together, let me know. I'd certainly love to tackle it here on the channel and see what comes out of it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I love you guys. I appreciate you very, very much. Thanks all of you so much for being here. Thank you to my law enforcement, military, veterans, and first responders for what you guys do every single day. As always, you guys have been awesome. I have been Baldman. I will see you in the next one. Be excellent to each other and keep headbanging.